I mean,
Uh,
you really can't make it up. I mean, I totally believe over there in Florida is Rish.
I believe you were Roland in
Yeah.
Scotland,
Um,
but not
uh,
Scottish.
Scotland, Bonnie, Scotland. I just saw something this morning and I couldn't believe the actual numbers and what I read. You do recall that you said you don't believe that there's 800 so and so many thousand non Chinese in China right now. Yeah.
I can't believe there's that many people that would want to stay, like, and roll the
Yep.
dice. I don't see
I
what you're
mean,
gaining. So yes, I did say
not
that, and
about wanting. It's not about wanting. Let me start like this. I would say everybody who is in China right now and not Chinese is either completely detached from any kind of reality or so far down that rabbit hole that leaving China would economically destroy them, would put them into a situation where they and their attitude are, yeah, how do I say that? Not only not welcome, but there is nothing you can sensibly do in any country outside China. And look, there's all the legitimate reasons. Like I said, if you have a family, if you have, for example, I mean, the standard case is you have Chinese wife, you have children. So going out together as a family is exceptionally difficult.
well, that's what I
However,
was gonna say. Like the the most simplest thing I would think is your subservient Asian trophy wife said, "Yeah, you can screw off, but me and the kids are staying in China." And some guys are like,
fun fact,
"Oh man."
fun fact, I know a family where the husband, well, basically the whole family got on the plane. And for one reason or another, first it was the husband going over, and then getting the kids and the wife out. So the kids were let in. The wife fucked it up on purpose. So she said she's living here, whatever, blah blah blah,
Uh-huh.
and immigration took issue. So she did it on purpose. I don't want to comment on the whole story, but when you have been privy to the story, you can only conclude she did that on purpose because China number one.
Well, she didn't create
Get
that play in
wait,
the playbook either.
wait, wait. It gets better. So first of all, she was separated from the kids. Kids in the States. She back to China. Yeah, China number one. As soon as she landed, China locks down.
Uh-huh.
Oh, China shit.
Wait,
So
COVID or
yep,
political or okay, so COVID.
yep. Well, first political, then COVID. Um, essentially, and this is the number I was talking about. So first of all, we will go through that foreigner
No, you have
number
to
in a
tell us what
moment.
happened next. I want to know what happened
Essentially,
to this family. Is it
is
together? Did they fall
yes,
apart?
no, they are together, and a year later, basically, she was allowed in because they appealed the blacklisting. So I don't know under what reason,
Wait, they let
but
her in even after he divorced her?
no, they are not divorced. They are not divorced. They're
I
together. They are
would
married.
have.
So
I would have been like, no, she ain't
uh,
coming here.
the thing,
No.
right now, look, and this is why I said I am with you where I say I don't believe the number is that high. Even when I say okay, it is quite realistic when you go from say 250,000 people are working in China. Yeah, if you
Mhm.
look at family, extended family, yeah, that 850,000 is, yeah.
Yeah.
So the other thing is um, why this is so unbelievable, because this morning I heard a number that in the first quarter of 2023, 65 million Chinese have left China. And I can't believe that number because that would be about 10% of the working population. So, I wanted to look at what
Wait,
is,
65 million is
yeah,
10% of the working
yeah.
how
You have a
jacked up are
total
their
of,
demographics? Is everybody old
no,
or is everybody
yes,
young?
yes. You have, I would say, somewhere 650, or let's say half of the population. I think that's a good average for every country, is of working age and in work, not a student in school or retired. Yeah.
No, paying taxes.
Yeah, something like that. The
Yeah.
people that buy stuff, people that make stuff.
Yeah,
So
your consumer base and your tax base are generally the same people.
yeah, something around the thing like that, and that's the horn I'm going to blow later. No, what I'm going to say is what I have seen, emigration, yeah, leaving China was before 2010 or in 2010, it was just under 8,000 people that left China. Yeah, whether they kept their Chinese passport or not is not in that survey. So just, are you living outside China? So
That's not very many people.
no, that's not many people
No.
right now. Right now, and I can give you the current figure. I confirmed this figure with two different sources. So right now, give
Wait,
me
we need sources now?
yeah, that would be good. So let me have a look, and I will tell you the reason in a moment. Now this is
Because journalism.
yeah, no, this is just refugees.
Oh, Jesus.
This is just refugees. In 2020, not people that have left China, just refugees that saying I'm being persecuted. 107,864. I have the exact number. The number is from the UN. So from just under 8,000, everybody who is leaving China, to 107,000 in 2020. Now, since the start, I'm quoting now from that report. Since Xi Jinping came into power, that number has gone to that 108,000. And as soon as Xi Jinping came to power, the 8,000 of leaving China doubled, and that is only refugees, not people that have legitimately left, as in I don't like this, I want to escape, I want to get out, I want to live somewhere else. Those are
Right.
not included. So
Wow.
my kind of thinking is, I think 65 million is too high, and I'm looking, but before I can look at the number, I started to get information. Even the British newspaper The Guardian did a
I've heard
story
of
on
them.
this.
I think I've cited them as my source before.
Look, you can say about British newspapers what you want, but they occasionally do hit the spot. So, and this one was last year in July. And essentially, what has become an online trend, this hashtag stuff,
Mhm.
is run, RUN. Yeah. And this comes or was during the time when you could only leave the country if you are a student or employed and send money back to China. Those were the two reasons they let you out at that time. And the reason for that was, we want to stop the spread of COVID. People leaving China, what is your concern about that? No, you are concerned that people of working age, taxpayers, educated people are leaving and taking their money with them. That was the reason, nothing else.
And basketball players. I've
Um,
I'll do so I was a I've been a Houston Rockets fan for like 20 years. That's
yeah,
basketball for those who don't know. It's the NBA team out of Houston. Yao Ming had to give like 80% of his salary to the CCP, and this was like 14, 15 years ago. He had to give most of his salary to the CCP, and then he couldn't play in certain games if there was a Chinese national game coming on. So it didn't matter who you were, and that was their face to global athletics, like their everyday face. Don't get me wrong, every 4 years they try to ball out for the Olympics, good for you. But that's what they were doing to the guy who was supposed to be over here going, yeah, China's great. And they're like, yeah, we're great. Now give us your money.
Not only happened to him, happens to a lot of people these days.
But I'm saying, if it can happen to him, it can happen to any Chinese person.
Exactly. I mean, that is one of the reasons.
and they were screwing him.
Yeah, that is one of the reasons why people are saying, I want to leave this place. Because again, as I said before, at any given moment, someone from the government can come to your house, can come to your company and say, this is mine. You have nothing. And if I'm in a particularly bad mood, I'm sending you to re-education. So literally. And the comments, there was another publication talking about that. I think that is from Singapore News that asked people, well, why do you want to leave? And they said, well, there is absolutely no freedom anymore. And specifically the lockdown of Shanghai and Beijing was cited as a thing. Well, if they can do that in Shanghai and to people that or a city that is so outward looking, yeah, where basically all the foreigners live, the vast proportion of foreigners lives in Shanghai. So a lot fewer live in Beijing. And the Pearl River Delta, the Shenzhen, Guangzhou area. So
I was told
thing
that Shanghai is way, vastly more important to the Chinese economy and their global message than Beijing could ever be.
Yeah, but look, Beijing is basically politics. There is a couple of lawyers, but
it's like the difference between DC and New York, right?
Something
like DC is the government, but all the stuff happens in New York.
All the lawyers are in New York, yeah.
Well, and the trade and the heads of the banks and the stock market, that that's. And that's the way it was explained to me. Shanghai is New York.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right in that regard. And now they are doing that kind of thing in Shenzhen with, well, for manufacturing it, specifically electronics.
Is Shenzhen a city or a province?
Shenzhen is a city, Guangzhou is a city, and Dongguan it's basically one huge city. You go from one place to another, like the Ruhr in Germany, but much larger.
Or like Dallas, Fort Worth, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Yeah, I mean, really huge kind of thing.
Oh, Houston.
And yeah, look, the thing is, if you do that, Shenzhen, Guangzhou is also what kind of foreigners go there. Mostly Middle Eastern, people from the Middle East, people from Africa are going to Guangzhou and maybe Shenzhen. Europeans and Americans are all, or almost all, in Shanghai.
Well, they can't go to Hong Kong anymore, can they?
No, and that is the other news. They interviewed some guy from Hong Kong, and they also said we are leaving because of what is happening in China right now. So you are no longer safe here. You are. I mean, that is the thing. Without economic prospect, and again, I will say this for the Chinese people is, I have never seen so many Chinese students here in the UK. Well, first of all, the number in the US has gone down very, very slightly, and that is all for political reasons. So my assumption, without having been there, thankfully, I would say if you claim you are a student, you have an offer letter from a university, and you're going to any university, yeah, okay, can't stop you, come back. So UK has now this visa that people can stay after their study, which a lot of these students are taking opportunity of. Yeah.
Is it like an
So
intern visa?
no. So what happens
Okay.
is
So it's
I
a
review.
residency.
It is a residency.
Oh,
So
okay. Okay.
what happens is, and this is why 2-year master degrees are becoming increasingly popular. It's 2 years where you are safe here in the UK. Yeah. Then you get 2.5 years, but effectively it's 3 years of residency where you can work, where you can run a business or whatever. This can be renewed. And if you live in the country legally with any such visa, not student visa, after you are a student, for 8 years, you take the citizenship tests, you can get a PR or even a bloody passport. I think PR is even after 5 years.
What's a PR,
So,
permanent residency?
yeah.
Okay.
So the problem with PR is you need to renew your Chinese passport. And one of the things they did in 2021 is telling people we only renew passports in China, and then told them, well, no, we are not letting you out. You're not getting a passport. So,
Well, crap.
indeed, tell me about it. So, literally, this is the kind of thing. We had a bit of trouble because my daughter, she was born after my wife became a British citizen. If she had been born before that, the Chinese government would at that moment say, well, no, she is Chinese. You have to apply for that other passport. So when she had only a British passport ever. So
Wait.
this
So
is,
they treat kids like pandas?
yep, pretty
We
much.
know this panda wasn't born in China, but if you don't send it back,
Yeah. Um,
that
really,
is
this is,
so jacked up. You understand how like effed all of that
dude,
sounds, and the fact
seriously,
that it's true is.
what
And this
really,
is why, and to answer your question, this is why I say, how in the flying are there 800, almost a million
yeah,
people still going? Yeah, no, I want to see the next stop on this train. If
look,
there's a mountain or a freaking ocean you're running
I
into at
will
full
say
steam.
something about that. I will say something about that in a moment. But you are absolutely right. As a normal person, you can't comprehend how this country and this government works. Literally, you will every single day run into instances, occurrences, issues where you say, that is so fucking insane. And really, the other thing that is so frustrating,
But
you have
look at
absolutely
I
no
did everything but
recourse.
beg you to leave, and that was
Yeah.
before Corona, Wuhan,
So,
whatever 19, whatever they want to call it. I was listening to you tell me stories about that and begging, dude, get out, get your family and run.
you see, it is what is happening. I just before we started this conversation, I opened an academic article about how foreigners are leaving China.
Mhm.
But I wanted to bang on, and that's the horn I wanted to blow. Is they have put these restrictions in, only letting fewer people out because it is starting to hurt them. The people that are left behind either can't find jobs. We have youth unemployment around 20% right now. We have a huge migrant labor force. We have a huge uneducated labor force that can't find jobs in manufacturing on the assembly line because there is no orders. Yeah, it's
Well, that's kind of your fault, not the business owner, the government. They
it,
made it impossible to do ethical business.
it is incredibly well. It is impossible. Yeah, there's always the kind of thing. Like I said, and there is first of all, you have absolutely no recourse. Where are you going to complain if someone from the government comes in and says, "I'm taking this away from you," or throws you in jail? You have absolutely no legal recourse.
So there's no
So
appeals process.
Oh, there is, but the result the result is you get in more trouble. So
Well, I meant a real and appeals process. Like you can't be like that. Sounds like the appeals from I don't know how familiar you are with the NFL, where they had a collective bargaining agreement between the players and the owners. And Roger Goodell is the commissioner of the NFL. So he imposed the fines and the punishments for players doing things that they weren't supposed to, that was against the league contract. And when they appealed, he was also the entirety of the review board for like a solid 2.5 years. They had to sue, and the government had to step in and say, no, what the fuck? You need third party mitigation. And the NFL looked at the document. They said, here's the CPA, here's the CPA collective or CBA, collective bargaining agreement. And they went, no, every single one of those idiots signed it. And this was in there. This is not a revised copy. There's no red lines through it. They knew this and they said, yeah, sounds good. So they had to sue the NFL. And then, of course, like you were saying, when the guy who gives you your punishment and then you appeal to that guy, you're basically saying, hey, guy, you're wrong. Now you think about it. And they go and think about it and go, yeah, you're right. 1 million wasn't enough. How about 10?
look, precisely the thing. And within such an authoritarian society,
Judge Dredd. That's
yes,
Judge Dredd.
yes.
Oh wait,
Look,
I finally found a movie you've seen.
yes. But what I want to say is, the reason why you are very likely to get a harsher punishment is any kind of question, any kind of appeal is seen as a grave insult to someone in authority. So literally, it comes down to, one of my students told me one of the reasons why Chinese students don't ask questions in the lecture. Said, well, if we do that, our Chinese professors will punish us for questioning their authority.
That's how parents do their kids. Okay, I have kids, you
No,
have
they
kids.
don't.
No, what I'm saying is, so when a child does something and you know they've done it and you go, no, I know you did that, this is your punishment, and they go, no, I didn't. It's like that, but with adults.
Well,
Because when
mentioning
someone
that,
goes, I didn't do that, screw you, I don't have to listen to you, and then you're like,
here's the video.
oh.
No, but look, what you mentioned, but with adults, there is a Chinese professor, and he published a book. He's a psychologist, and the book basically translates as the country of adult babies. And he is exploring and explaining the reasons why, in his professional opinion, Chinese people are so immature when dealing with life. And one of the reasons is obviously, well, they have never had any kind of consequences for their actions. They never had the authority to make important decisions, because they are being told by their parents, by the government, what to do on a daily basis.
So if they made the wrong decision, they could always say, it's not my fault,
else.
I did what I was told.
That is combined with face culture. Like I said, it is not one thing that makes it so difficult also to say, I don't want to use this as a defense for Chinese people. Yeah, there is still, no matter the consequences, you have a brain, you can think. So, but the thing is, from early on, people are conditioned to a certain behavior and to not show other kind of behavior.
Yeah.
So,
but see, you can think, but that to me, it goes back to that African ruler. He said, you absolutely have the freedom of speech, but what you say might cost you your freedom.
Of speech.
He said, but I can't guarantee. He said, you absolutely have freedom of speech, but I can't guarantee your freedom after your speech.
Yeah. Look,
So yeah, they have a brain, but
look, the problem
literally,
is,
you're making like the more you hear about it, and I'm pretty sure it's a Western term, but I'm sure you've heard of it. It's psychologists call it battered woman syndrome, where you
haven't
keep
heard it.
so battered woman
Yeah.
syndrome.
Sorry. Get
It's
it.
when someone in a relationship, because now it's been
Yep.
adjusted to include males because of inclusiveness and blah blah blah, whatever. I don't give a fuck. So it's
Uh,
basically
the
you keep
Johnny
getting
Depp
your ass
law.
beat, but you don't know what else to do, so you just, hey, hit me again, Ike, and this time put some stank on it.
Look, this is really a complex, a very complex issue, and
Or you could go with Stockholm syndrome, where you fall in love with your kidnappers.
yeah. Look, this is literally, and this is the problem I have. You have people that are being abused. They deny that they are being abused. They shit on you on a daily basis. They manage to get themselves out of the situation, but keep shitting on you, who has nothing to do with that situation. And that is something that I absolutely disapprove of. Um, the other thing now is you have people that are so had people that were so detached from reality. You have students that Chinese students that are trying to enforce Chinese law in UK universities, in American universities, Australian universities. You have people from the Chinese government trying to do
Yeah,
that.
but the kids
You have
these
police
days let
stations.
them get away with it. The kids these days let them get away with it.
Well, I can say in the US, in a couple of institutes, you are no longer getting away with that kind of bullshit.
No, what I'm saying is,
So,
if we had a Chinese national, and I'll take this to construction, blue collar, salt to
mhm.
the earth. If anybody, not Chinese, if any foreigner came to America and was working on a construction site and was just straight shitting on America, it wouldn't last. It wouldn't last but a few minutes before someone told them, if they were lucky, told them, you either shut your mouth, or
Or I
or it
shut
will
it
be
for you.
shut. It will be shut.
Look, I again, these are the kind of things that is a thing. These people have never
And
been
sometimes
confronted
it's
with
immigrants who came here
reality.
who love this country. They'll be the ones, don't you talk about America. Fuck you. I'm an immigrant too. I'm not like you. I love this country. Screw you.
Look, there is
They'll beat their ass.
from a position of being that guy. Yeah, there
Yeah.
is stuff I absolutely disagree with here in the UK, but it's the
Of
program.
course.
You get along with
UK
it,
has a
or you
government.
get
That
out.
means there's going to be something wrong.
Absolutely. Look, the only problem, quite literally, that I have, because I have is the equivalent to a permanent residency, and in 3 years I could get a British passport.
Yeah,
I
but
could
if you
have got
get
the British
deported
passport
for some
before.
reason, you're not going back to China. They're going to deport you to
Yep,
Germany.
they're gonna send me to Germany. So
Well,
look,
that's,
when I
if I
compare it,
had my
is
choices of deportation, I'm gonna be speaking the Deutsch.
sprechen. No, in all honesty, there is more reasons for leaving Germany than wanting to go back. So
Well, see, I already follow one. I'm already part of one of the biggest religions in Germany. I'm a
well,
Liverpool fan.
you're Liverpool and Arsenal, the largest religions.
No, just Liverpool.
I've seen that joke. I've seen that joke. Look, what I was going to say, and let me get that academic article out now, is
Yeah.
apparently millions of people are trying to leave, and when you look at that, just a couple of of figures. According to the 20, that figure 850,000, that's 2020. That's 2020.
So it's
Uh,
got to be just.
I would say a lot less by now. So,
No, I mean the
um,
exodus numbers have to be on the climb. Like the amount of people trying to leave or who
yeah,
have left. Yeah, that
Yeah,
number going up, people staying going down.
absolutely. Let me have a look at that.
Plus, all the Germans from Bauer think I would make a great German, except for the
I got
engineers
this.
from,
I got this. The
because
number
I
of
cuss
border
'em.
crossings by foreigners decreased from 97.7 million in 2019 to 13.2 million in 2020 and a mere
COVID.
4.5 million in 2021.
Now, say the first part, the numbers are reflective of what?
Well, let's have a look at this. The number of border crossings by foreigners decreased from
Now, is this
97.7
into or
million.
out of, or crossing either way?
Either way,
Okay.
it seems. We have a look. Well, let's just say this is people going in. Let's just say this would be people going in, but the way it is written, it has to be both in and out. So
Okay.
97.7 in 2019, in 2020 down to 13.2 million, 4.5 million in 2021. And yes, I'm one of them. I'm out. So
But see, border crossings, you want your border crossing numbers to be high because that indicates trade and tourism.
exactly.
So even if your numbers are going low, even if it's people coming in and out and not just people fleeing, if the lower that number is, the less trade, less tourism,
Yeah. Yeah.
less
In a
exchange
recent
of
survey
ideas.
among foreigners in Shanghai conducted during the strict and long lockdown in April 2020, 85% of 950 respondents said that the lockdown has made them rethink their future in China. Furthermore, 22 and
Wait, house arrest
26%
is bad?
of respondents said that they want to leave China as soon as possible. So 22% of the 950 they asked want to leave ASAP, 26 within 12 months, and only 15% said I want to stay in China.
Their wife must have been in the room.
Very likely, or yeah,
Or their Alexa kept
is
getting
listening.
closer. No, it's always listening. No, it jumped on the back of the Roomba and was creeping up on you.
Yeah. So
Jeez,
I mean, when I'm just flying through this. I'm flying through this.
We're all just flying through this because the Earth rotates around the sun. Or excuse me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this is a super interesting article. I'm gonna share it with you and the audience. But this is wow. Yeah. So my thing is, I mean, it's got to be more or less. When you look at this, from 250,000 down to 65,000 people employed in that's figures from the European Chamber of Commerce. So let's just say 1/4 of those 850,000 is still left. Yeah, make that analog, infer it from that data. That says we are down to 250,000 non-Chinese in China. And that does not include the people from Hong Kong and Taiwan that are there on travel. Yeah. So that's another thing that we need to understand, that Hong Kong, Macau, people from Macau and Taiwan are counted in a separate category, which runs up to 584,998. So just under 600,000, and everybody else 850,000. So now what is interesting is that the two researchers that put this together are from the Kiel Institute for World Economy. So they are economists.
Mm-hmm.
This is a journal article, as in those two wrote that article. A couple of other people looked at if it makes sense what they are saying, and then it was published. It's not just some moron, not you, me, anyone spouting
No, there
some
was
bullshit.
an editor involved,
Yeah,
probably
there was
some
an
fact
editing
checking.
process involved. There was a review process and fact checking involved. So, and look, these are the numbers
So
that
the
we get.
opposite of the Chinese numbers.
Pretty much, yeah. And it also says there were 410,550 immigrants. So Hong Kongese, Macanese, Taiwanese, plus everybody else. So the 1.4 million non-Chinese in 2020 were 410,000 non-Chinese in 2010. So
damn.
And at that time, you can bet bottom dollar most of these people were actually from Taiwan and Hong Kong, because between the Hong Kongese can just go back and forth how they want to. Mm-hmm. Essentially, it's very easy for you if you are Taiwanese to get into China. I can't vouch for getting out again, so please don't take this as travel advice.
Disclaimer.
But, disclaimer.
We are not immigration officials.
We are not immigration lawyers. We are not providing immigration advice, but don't even think about it. So
we're not providing any advice.
I mean, the State Department is very neutral in this, saying arbitrary arrests and detentions, exit bans, etc., etc., etc. So it's basically saying we cannot guarantee your safety in that country. So if a bureaucrat that is more intent on keeping their job and enabling domestic business to thrive says we cannot guarantee you will be safe in a certain situation. If it reaches that point of danger, I mean, look at it. Until 6 months ago, Afghanistan was classed as a safe country by the German government. And
good luck.
I mean, good luck with that.
Especially if you're a woman.
Well, I think it is pretty safe in the house for you if you say yes and amen or yes and Allah to everything your husband says.
Hey, I think I saw is Pakistan and the Taliban shooting each other? I thought I saw something about a border skirmish or a misunderstanding between the Taliban and Pakistan in the mountains.
Was that not Pakistan and India?
No, if that happened,
that happens on a regular basis. Don't I mean, it's not worth making the news. But look,
I don't even like to think about that, because if those two countries get a wild hair up their ass, you might as well stand up straight, put your head between your legs, and kiss your ass goodbye, because that pot been really simmering for a long time.
Bad. But look, this also shows there is up to a certain point of escalation, and then people, start thinking, not a good idea. Let's de-escalate this. So
a lot of people talk shit till they realize I'm about to get punched in the face, and this is going to hurt. Maybe I should tone back that stuff about your mother.
So look. And this is another thing. What I'm saying, the Chinese government has never been on the receiving end of their own bullshit until very, very recently. So there is definitely also an option, at least theoretically, that this will alter the approach. I doubt it, because the person in power right now is not only face culture, making China great again. He's also severely undereducated and undermannered. Let's put it in those terms. So, yeah, so one of the things, just commenting on the education of the chairman himself, he claims to have gone to university when there was no such thing as actual university education. Yes, there were universities, but there was no teaching. They sent
Did
all
he get an
people to countries.
honorary degree?
No, no, no. It is said that he actually did a PhD. I can't, for the love of God, find that PhD because I would like to throw that into my plagiarism software and look where he copied it from. So there is
That was
a
before
rumor.
Chat.
A
Was it
rumor.
Chat GBI?
Yeah, that look. It says there is rumors. I want to say rumors that first of all, his thesis was not good, and secondly, he didn't write it himself. I can't comment on this, but I would not put it beyond the realm of possibility. That's all I'm going to say about it. So look, I, perhaps it's better like this. I have seen a lot of stupid people in my life. I have seen these people do a lot of stupid things. But the level of stupidity, and I recall this. This is a conversation I had with one of my superiors in China. He was not Chinese, and he said, "Never attribute to malice what plain stupidity can explain." And I had to tell him, look, we are talking about this particular incident we were talking about. We are talking a level of stupid, of being too stupid to dress yourself in the morning. I don't see naked people out there. It can't
Right,
be stupidity at that level. So
right.
when you prioritize ideology over everything else, if you try to rewrite reality, this is the kind of stuff that keeps happening. Because Martek's law, at some point, reality will pull you back, happening all the time. So my real question is about this e-migration, not immigration. What what role should we as Western countries play? Should we say no? We are not letting you in. If you don't like China, go change it. You are Chinese. We are not. Not our problem. Or should we say everybody welcome? So that is the problem I have, because I keep saying there is no incentive for people to change their lives unless they are forced to do so. That's nothing to do with China, Chinese, or whatever. This is just common. If you are not
You're
threatened,
explaining the reason behind evolution.
yeah, I mean that's a simpler way to put it. But look from an
Hey, it's a good
educational
bullet
perspective.
point. Tell me if I missed it, but you're explaining the reason for evolution.
um, it does play a role. You see, in the theory of change is you have two forces at work at any given time. Forces that want you to continue the same behavior, and forces that want you to change your behavior. When the disincentive from negative consequences is high enough and exceeds the reward from not changing, then you start changing. That is
Well,
actually
and I could use that exact same argument to describe the welfare state in America, where keeping people on welfare basically it turns them into slaves, and instead of working fields, they have to cast votes. So that transfers to a lot of things as far as when people have no reason to change. If you have a house, if you have a car, if you're eating, and you could do so much, and you could do so much more work for a chance for later in your life, or your next generation of offspring to have
yeah.
more than you have now, or just do nothing and continue the cycle. A lot of people choose continue the cycle. Bury your head in the sand.
So
What are you thinking about? Look like your brain
um
just factory reset.
yeah, million, thousand, 1 million. Wow.
Care to share with the group?
Um,
No.
the net migration rate for China in 2022 was minus 0.254 per thousand population. So
Official numbers,
for
Chinese numbers, or
100 million, so 254 per 1 million Chinese are leaving. So let me quickly do the maths. Calculator.
Yeah,
254 per million. So for 100 million, we have that one. Times 10 times 1.4. So we have the people and population decline. So this is not counting people going into China. This is just people leaving China.
Okay.
Outflux of people is 355,600. So that is not the amount of people that is leaving. There's more people leaving, but there's also some people coming back. So, but overall, we have in 2022 over 350,000 Chinese leaving China.
That's not peanuts.
That is not peanuts. So let's just go with that number, 350,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
Come. 355,000 divided by 650 million. That is, wow. Okay.
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy. That is 0.05% of the working population. I mean, that number seems a bit low considering all the problems that factories say that we're having. So we have somewhere between 0.05 and 10% of people leaving China.
They got to go somewhere.
They have to go somewhere. And like I said, only the refugees, not the people that come on a legitimate visa, is over 100,000 already. So
that's crazy.
It's look, my question for all these Wu Maos or Sanchi bars. Yeah, I will keep calling them Sanchi bars. Those internet trolls. If China is so great, why are so many people leaving?
I don't know.
Why
Ask
do
the
they
Soviets.
go? Why do they go?
Shit. Can't.
Why do they go to such mean countries like the US? Over 75,000 applications for refugee status in 2019. Yeah. Why do they go to these kind of countries? Yeah. Why do they go to countries that are so much worse, in your opinion, than China? It does not make sense. Please start using your brain. Please stop being a bloody drone repeating the propaganda. It no longer works. Yeah, speaking of that, since you mentioned the Soviet Union, I raise you by Eastern Germany. Why is it that these three countries have to literally build walls around their country, politically, internet-wise, ideologically, to keep their people in, not to keep people out?
Hey, do you know why North Korea only has mines on its southern border and not its northern one?
Well, they keep trying to go to South Korea.
Because the US wouldn't pay to put the mines in between them and China.
Well, speaking of that,
Hey, those million landmines in the DMZ didn't pay for themselves, buddy. We were only willing to put
Nope.
them on one border.
Well, I would say that that's largely enough. Look, the advantage of this kind of arrangement of having a wall or a fence running through your country and call one side the good side, the other side the bad side. No matter on which side you're on, the other side is always the bad one. Yeah, it does have advantage. It makes things a lot easier for a lot of people. So really, from from that point of view, I grew up in a country that was divided by probably the most secure border at that point, where,
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
yeah,
No,
yes, definitely.
I can tell you the two most effective borders of the nation that is most secure. It's
We are not
called the
talking about
Atlantic
Niue.
and the Pacific.
No,
That's a damn border.
look, I mean land border, obviously, but look at it from this point of view. You can only compare it literally. You can only compare it to the DMZ that you mentioned it, and
150 miles.
the there was landmines in such a density and size of an area, it was literally impossible to flee Eastern Germany. You knew you have, let's just say, in non-urban built-up area, in non-urban area, you have about 1, if not 5 kilometers of open field where you know you are getting shot if you're there.
I
And
was told there was
those were the orders.
so many landmines were placed to keep up on the way to the wall.
Look,
Just
it was. I mean, there's good documentary about the inner German border. So there was how this changed. They had landmines or special mines on the fence actually. So if you try to fiddle with the fence, climb the fence, cut the fence, there was a mechanism so that mine
boom.
would blow you up. There was, and the only way the Eastern German government stopped this kind of practice and only used other quite perfidious ideas in border policing is because a West German guy went to the fence, tried to disassemble one of those mines and bring it as evidence, and was blown up. So,
Well, and remember that anti-tank mines are made to destroy. Anti-personnel mines are specifically created to maim and wound,
yeah.
which
Well,
is even sicker if you
it
think about
doesn't
it.
blow you up. When you look at it, how do landmines work? They want to cause maximum damage in a certain area of destruction. And the way they do that, all anti-personnel mines do that with shrapnel,
Mhm.
basically. So you
It's
have,
an area denial system, but the way to deny an area is
yeah,
not to, because effectively you could just kill everyone. You could just send wave after wave, use human wave tactics, and create a hole. But if you're fighting any kind of cohesive army that has, sense of duty and anything like that, after their guys are getting tore up, at some point they're going to start trying to pull their guys back. That ties
yeah,
up more personnel. So that's why it's better
and
for the people trying to deny the area if they take a leg instead of a life.
in combat logistics, what you are trying to do now, this is pure factual discussion. You
Mhm.
want to wound people because then it ties up resources that the enemy can't use.
It takes two people to take care of a wounded. It takes no one
Yeah,
to take care of the dead.
exactly. So yeah, but again, this is the kind of question: why do all these communist paradises have in common that they need a border to keep people in? Why are there restrictions or more restrictions preventing you from leaving than that what there are restrictions of going in?
Well, because it doesn't work. It's a bad form of government. And then you
Look,
have
it's
these idiots in my country, and you bring up all these examples of socialism failing, and socialism being the oppressive force of the last century. I mean, it really was. That was the oppressive force. Before that, you could say slavery, but the from 1900 to 1999, I can make an argument that any form of socialism was the most oppressive institution on the planet for those 99 years.
yep.
And I could give good, solid examples and facts, and you will have these morons screaming, that's not real socialism. How many times you got to try it, bud?
Look, it is, and Jordan Peterson says this, it is such a narcissist thing to say, well, but if you let me do it, it will work. No, it won't.
If
Because
you
the
let me be
fundamental
king,
premise
I
it
will
won't.
come into it with the best intentions, and I will leave a tyrant with my head on a pike or somehow guillotined.
Look, story of human history is essentially.
Power
And
corrupts absolutely, and absolute power,
no, it
however
doesn't.
it
It
goes.
doesn't. It is not the case that power itself corrupts, but it attracts already corrupted people. So there's that. And when you see that,
Oh, I saw a fun fact. So speaking to that, in males born in Russia in
yeah,
1923, 80% of the Russian, Soviet, whatever you want to call it, 80% of the males born in 1923 did not survive World War II.
yeah,
That's why there's Putin. You're killing the Slavic people are going away, bud. You don't have those human wave numbers anymore.
they never had them. And at
Oh, they found them. They found them in 45.
after the Battle of the Seelow Heights, just before the assault on Berlin, the generals or the field marshals told Stalin that, look, we have more rifles than people. We need to stop these kind of human wave tactics, wasting our people.
Which was
Yeah.
the exact opposite of Stalingrad.
Well, Stalingrad only look. This wouldn't have worked another or a third time. The real advantage or the real thing about Stalingrad was the Russians were able to mobilize another army that then cut off the German army. So I don't want to. Well, the Allies, the Western Allies, were under the impression that the Germans will take Stalingrad, no problem. They will come over the Caucasus and threaten the Middle East, no problem. And then this Siberian army appears out of nowhere because the Japanese were not going to attack. And the Japanese had all the reasons not to attack. They got their ass handed to them a couple of years before that.
Well, the Japanese kept like 12 or 15 divisions on standby just for Russia on the
Yeah,
Siberian
and
coast,
like I
and
said,
they
they
never
got their
moved
ass
them. They
handed to
never
them.
redeployed them until it was too late. I think it was 15 divisions. I mean,
I can't
anyone's
speak
more
for
than
the
willing
numbers.
to fact check that, but I know that the Japanese kept a significant army in place in
Mm-hmm.
case the Russians came.
Yeah, I mean, it was to say that when the Japanese decided to Pearl Harbor you guys, they didn't send their best formations. They sent 100,000 people, a couple of ships, and it was a resounding success. I mean, okay, from the Navy, they had to pull in quite a significant amount. However, when you look at where the priorities were, the best formations and the best logistics was provided to the troops in China. The Navy had specific orders to not risk any confrontation with even inferior American forces. The order basically was move your ass back. You are needed to defend the home country and
Yeah, but if
support
they
attacking
would
China.
have sent one more wave and hit the fuel depots and hit the repair docks, they would have bought themselves another
I
3
give you
years.
one. I give you one
At
more.
least.
The USS Enterprise was almost detected and destroyed on these occasions. The Enterprise.
It told them they're coming. Do
Yep.
something. The Japanese flew over 2 air bases to get to Pearl Harbor on the Hawaiian Islands. And they thought it was American planes coming back from patrol.
Yep. That's. I mean, there's so much incompetence. Yeah.
They got the
these two.
telegram attack is imminent from DC 2 hours after it was over.
Yeah. Look, there is so much coincidence and stuff in a couple of historic events that you can't believe it. But yeah, on the other hand, when you look at it from a different perspective, the stuff that we had or the Americans had in Pearl Harbor, not the stuff that they sent out before the attack, the carrier groups.
No, they got all our battleships and our cruisers.
They got a lot of very, how do I say that? The battleships that were there, with the exception of the latest ones. The two latest ones were the Washington and the not Indiana, South Carolina.
Yeah. I'd have to go back into it.
So basically those were not in Pearl Harbor at that time, but they were redeployed to the Pacific. I think the Washington was deployed to Iceland before that. I can't say about the South Carolina, but for the rest of the battleships, the more modern and better ones, the more modernized ones, were in the Pacific. So yes, there was a significant loss in capability, and there was simply no other choice than to prioritize carrier tactics and submarines.
But
so
we did get the Iowa class, which, I mean, by my metrics, the Iowa class was the best battleships.
Oh, there's that is a discussion we should have another time. A lot of historians say it's the South Dakota class, and paying
we put an Iowa class off of Iraq and launched fucking cruise missiles from one. We said, "Fuck it, bring it back, one more hurrah."
Well, there was a case in the standard tactics to that requires 16-inch guns. Yeah, but in terms of comparison between the South Dakotas and the Iowas, the protection was not really increased that much. I mean, the Iowas were never really engaged in a serious peer-to-peer battle. The South Dakotas were. The Iowas.
But that's also, you can say the F-22 doesn't have any aerial kills in a balloon, or except for a balloon. But if I have my choice of an F-22 or an F-15, I know the F-15 has never lost an aerial combat. They're undefeated. The F-15 is amazing. But if I have my choice, I'm taking the F-22.
Well, with comparable pilot, yes, obviously. But the argument I want to bring forward concerning the Iowas is the South Dakotas cost like $70 million, and the Iowas about $100 million at that time, 1940s. So when you're talking about 30 million, and the only significant difference is that the Iowas are a little bit faster.
No, they're faster.
28 point something versus 33 knots. So, and
when you need it matters. You never watched
every
Star
role
Trek?
the Iowa performed, the South Dakotas also performed them. So,
yeah. We are way off topic now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the fun of it. Yeah.
Well, guys, from Chinese immigration to World War II a U.S. battleship discussion
You can only find it here
with
from
Roland.
Rish and Roland. Exactly. And we all welcome you back on the next video.